Hello, and thank you for joining us for 200 North Main, the show where we talk about all the wonderful things happening at the Wallingford Public Library, located, guess where? You guessed it, 200 North Main Street. My name is Julie Rio. I am the Adult Programming and Community Services Librarian at the library. And today I wanted to talk about online resources. So I've invited two of my colleagues to help me do that. So joining me today is the Senior Creative Technologies Librarian, that's a mouthful, Kayleigh Sprague, and the Head of Children's Services, Kari Hamad. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. So when we talk about online resources, exactly what does that mean, Kayleigh?
It means a few different things. The one that most people tend to think of are ebooks and digital audiobooks that you can check out and listen to or read on a phone, tablet, e-reader, your computer. But it also includes databases for different educational purposes. We have things like Lynda that will teach you business and technology skills, Creativebug to just do crafts, and Transparent Language, which will do language instruction as well, among a ton of other resources.
Yeah. And we also have some resources available for children, correct?
We do. A couple of resources that I'd like to talk about. The first is called Bookflix, and it's something that it's best for pre-K through grade 2, and it pairs a picture book or a nonfiction beginning reader with narration and a little bit of an animated video. So you can watch your favorite picture books and read along with text that's on the screen to help improve your reading skills. They usually pair a fiction and a nonfiction title together, so you can read something fun and then learn something more about the topic. And then there are some games and activities that go along with it to extend the learning.
Excellent. And you said that was for what grades?
About pre-K through grade 2.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the other one that we have is called Muzzy, and that is our language learning program directed just to kids. And it's available in Spanish, French, German, Italian, Chinese, English, and Korean.
Wow.
And it's set up more as a game style learning software instead of just straight language instruction. It makes it much more fun for kids.
And what grades is that for?
I would say that's probably, again, pre-K up through 4th or 5th grade.
And so that Muzzy corresponds to an adult language learning software that we have called Transparent Language. And how does that work exactly?
Well, you create an account with your library card, and it tracks your progress, and it's sort of a game-like system. There are some different modules that are interactive to help you learn, so it's not just straight vocabulary, sort of conjugating all your verbs. It's a little bit more interactive and takes you through learning a language pretty in depth. I believe there are close to 100 languages available.
Yeah. And is that more of a conversational learning then?
Yes.
You know, so where's the bathroom, et cetera, how are you today, that kind of thing.
A little bit more useful than some other services.
Yeah, that's great. And I should mention that all of these resources are available with your valid Wallingford Public Library card, right?
Yes.
And valid means that it's not expired, because a lot of people don't realize that your library card does expire after 3 years. So you can just come to the library and renew it in person just by verifying your address and phone number and email if you have one, and also that you don't owe any fines in excess. So in other words, that book that you borrowed last year that fell under the couch and you forgot that you had, you need to return that to the library and take care of any fines before you can use these resources, correct?
Yes. Exactly.
All right, thank you. So you talked about ebooks and audiobooks. So what are some of the services that we have available for that?
The one that people are probably most familiar with is Overdrive, which has a new app called Libby. It's a little bit more user-friendly than the old Overdrive app, and it's a little bit easier of a sign-up process. And Overdrive allows you to check out up to 10 ebooks or digital audiobooks at any time, and they have the latest bestsellers, all the really popular Patterson titles and things like that. We also have Hoopla, which is another great resource. It works a little bit differently in that you're limited to 4 checked out items per library card per calendar month. The selection's a little bit different between the two services, so you can certainly overlap. But Hoopla is especially great for audiobooks. They have a pretty extensive collection.
Yeah, and I should mention that Hoopla I've used for audiobooks, ebooks, movies, TV shows, comic books, and there's, music.
Music.
Yeah. So it really encompasses a lot. Maybe not always the newest titles, but they definitely have a very large selection.
Including things for kids.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, we should mention that. And also, there's a pretty new resource that we have available called Canopy.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
So Canopy operates in a similar manner to Hoopla in that you're limited per card per month, but with Canopy it's 10 titles and it's all streaming movies. So it tends to lean towards indie movies and documentaries, but they have a couple thousand titles available for checkout. I believe you get them for a 72-hour period to watch as many times as you want, and up to 10 per month.
And so the difference then with Canopy and with Hoopla is Canopy is all streaming.
Correct.
So you have to be connected to the internet in order to watch the movie.
Correct.
And Hoopla has an option where you could either watch it streaming or you can download it to your device to watch when you're offline.
Correct. The downloads are only available if you're using the Hoopla app, though. They don't work through the browser.
Oh, that's important to know. Thank you. So, you could download a movie and watch it while you're on the plane or, when you're not connected to the internet. That's great. And then we have also something called RB Digital, right? And that's for magazines mainly.
Yes. So it's a collection of magazines, including a number of back issues to when we subscribed to the magazine. You can check out as many titles as you want and keep them for as long as you want. There are no limits.
That's excellent. And, the reason why I wanted to talk about this today is because we're coming up on winter time. And, sometimes it's too cold and you just don't want to go out to the library, or the weather is bad, or you realize on a Saturday night that you don't have a movie to watch and the weather's going to be snowy and you want to stay in. And so these are all great resources that you can access 24/7. So even when the library is not open, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, excellent. Or I should mention, even in the summer when it's maybe too hot to go out.
That's true.
So yeah, they're available all year round to, again, valid Wallingford Public Library card holders. And so then the other things that we have that we consider online services are more training opportunities. So you mentioned Creativebug. That's a pretty new one for us. Tell us about that.
So it's a great system for creating arts and crafts, basically. They have a ton of different categories, things like drawing, knitting, even baking, gift wrapping, and they are in-depth video tutorials taught by artists in that field to teach you exactly what you need to do to create your own project, step by step. Gives you the supply list, there are reviews and pictures of people who have actually done it, so you can see, what the finished product might look like by someone who's not necessarily an artist.
Excellent. That sounds like a lot of fun. Do you know how many projects are available there?
I don't offhand. I know it's over 1,000. But
More than you could ever.
Yes.
Yes, that's true. More than you could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And then also there are opportunities for learning. You mentioned Lynda.com. And so tell us just a little bit about that again.
So Lynda.com is in-depth video tutorials on a variety of different subjects, both business and technology related. I do know they have 5,775 courses available, and they are very in-depth. And there's a lot on software, including software that we offer in the collaboratory, like Photoshop and Illustrator. And you can take these classes that could be 18 to 20 hours long, giving you really in-depth education into the resource, but also basic business skills like time management and organization and management, all sort of different workplace skills as well.
Excellent. And so now how do you keep track of what classes you've taken and maybe, if you said 18 to 20 hour class, where you are in that, because obviously I'm not going to sit down for 18 hours and take a class all at once.
Lynda's great about tracking your progress. Once you sign in with your valid library card, you create an account, a username and password that you'll use to sign in, and it will link all of your history You can see where you've stopped, the percentage, how far you are. You can take multiple courses at once and bounce back and forth. So it'll keep track of everything for you, and it will give you a certificate at the end of the class if you need it for continuing education.
Excellent. So if I were a tree, how would I get on the internet?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I guess I would log in. I've got a million jokes. They're not all good, but I've got a million of them. So then there are other opportunities for online learning, like Who Knew It? And what is that exactly?
Huna is similar to Linda in that it's video tutorials, mostly on technology, but they're really short snippets on popular questions. So there's overviews on Gmail and Word and Google Drive, really basic, easy to use videos that will give you a quick, how do I add an attachment in Gmail in under a minute, rather than the long in-depth courses.
Oh, great. And then also Universal Class.
Universal Class is a self-paced courses, and they cover everything. So it's not necessarily just technology and business. They have basic, I think, like cooking and home skills, in addition to accounting and personal finance and sewing. They have pretty much everything that you could think of that's related to more of life skills and educational workplace skills as well.
These are all really great resources that the Wallingford Public Library offers. And again, I should mention to people who have a valid Wallingford Public Library card. And, if you need more information, you could always call the library at 203-265-6754. And you can talk to Kayleigh or any one of the reference librarians about all the resources for adults, or you can call the Children's Department and talk to Kari or one of the children's librarians about all the resources that we offer online for young adults and kids. Or you can go to our website, which is wallingfordlibrary.org, which has links to all of these resources. And for many of them, you just have to create an online account with your library card. And all that does, obviously it's free because it's the public library, but all that does is keep track of what classes you've watched or what videos you've watched if you want to go back or if you want to track your progress. So, great resources. So I thank you very much for the two of you coming on. And the other thing I just wanted to mention is a pretty new thing that we have is Nisha Academy. And explain that for a second, Kayleigh.
Nisha Academy is another resource that will give you video tutorials, but this is on more of the library resources. So if you're interested in getting started with Hoopla, Overdrive, Canopy, any of the resources we've talked about, Nisha Academy has a video tutorial for that. If you're looking at our resource page on our website, there's a video camera icon next to anything that has a tutorial available, and a link to the full Nisha Academy as well, which will have videos and tutorials on Facebook and Twitter and Gmail, some more basic technology skills.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. And we're going to take a quick break. But before we go, I always have to ask a question. And my question is, why did the chicken cross the internet? The answer when we return. Thank you, Kayleigh and Kari. Hello and welcome back to 200 North Main. Before we left for the break, I asked a question. I said, why did the chicken cross the internet? To get to the other website. I told you, I have a million of them. They're not all good, but I've got a million of them. So again, I am Julie Rio with the Wallingford Public Library, and joining me again are Kayleigh Sprague and Kari Hamad. Welcome back. So now what I'd like to do is talk about some of the fun events that we have coming up. So Kari, what's going on in the children's department?
Oh my goodness, we have so much. So I'll just highlight some of the most popular things. First of all, one of the big questions we always get asked is, when is Storytime registration coming up?
Yes.
We do our story times in 4 6-week segments throughout the year. And we have to do registration because they are just so popular and they fill really fast. And our winter storytime session will start in January, and the registration for that for Wallingford residents will begin the week of December 9th. And Wallingford residents can either stop by or call us. The Children's Department regular number is 203-284-6436. And if they call that, they can get themselves signed up for story time.
Excellent. And what are some of the story times that you have?
So we have story times that range from programs for babies up through preschoolers. So we've got our Itty Bitty Babies program, which is the cutest one for the little
those
ones.
Little babies,
yes,
so cute.
Yes, and they just sort of lie there, and it's more for really more for the parents than for the babies at that point. And then programs for ones. We've got our Mother Goose programs for ones and twos, Happy Feet for 2s and 3s, and then preschool story time for the older kids.
Excellent. Do you have anything coming up for the holidays?
We've got a lot. So we're kicking off our holiday programming on November 30th. We have a winter ornament making program. So that can be, if you celebrate Christmas, you can make a Christmas ornament, but you can also make something just winter themed as like a door hanger. We have our always popular gingerbread house making program on December 4th. We'll have that both at 4 o'clock and at 7 p.m. So whether you work or not, you're in school or not, there's a time that would work for you. And that's actually for all ages. We get mostly kids and their families that come to that, but adults are welcome to come without kids.
I know for a lot of families that's become a tradition to come every year and do the gingerbread houses.
Yes, it's always a lot of fun. We have a holiday card making program on December 11th. We have a Nutcracker story time on December 13th, and so we'll have some ballet dancers coming in and acting out the Nutcracker a little bit, and then doing some storying.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. And then our ever popular holiday sing-along by the fireside in the children's room on the 16th.
Excellent. That's a lot of fun.
Yes, it is.
And I love the fact that we have a fireplace in the children's department.
Yes.
You know, I mean, what other library has that?
Right.
Wallingford is so fortunate to have that. It's just such a nice touch to have story time by the fireplace.
Yeah.
Definitely. So on the adult side, what we've got coming up is on Tuesday, November 12th, a program presented by the AARP, which is navigating the job search when you're over 50. So for many people, maybe they haven't searched for a job in a long time, and now, you know, searching for a job online in the digital age is probably very different than perhaps, you know, a few years ago even.
Yeah.
And so this is going to give you some tips to invigorate that job search. Wednesday, November 20th, the WPL, the Wallingford Public Library Play Readers, are performing selected scenes from The Good Doctor by Neil Simon. And they're a group that came together at the library, I think probably about 5 years ago. And they meet monthly, and they do some scenes from different plays and you know, have a lot of fun. And so they're going to be doing some humorous scenes from a play by Neil Simon. And then another group that meets regularly at the library is the Wallingford Writers Community. And on Monday, November 25th, they're having a panel discussion on self-publishing. A few of them are self-published authors. And so they're just going to get together and give some tips and tricks on how to self-publish and how to promote your book once you have self-published. And then, of course, in December, we have our annual events coming up. Monday, December 9th, the SCOW, Spanish Community of Wallingford.
Yeah, that one's always a good one.
Yes, their School of Music. They're doing their Festival of Spanish Carols, or Christmas Villancicos. I had to practice that. And then on Tuesday, December 10th, the Wallingford Garden Club has their 33rd annual holiday tea, which, if you've never been to that event, it is a huge event. The Wallingford Garden Club members really go all out to put together tea, coffee, punch, different finger sandwiches, and all for the community to come and enjoy and learn maybe a little bit more about the garden club. And I know they've gotten a few more members by people coming to the event at the library, so it's really a special thing. And then Kayleigh, you wanted to mention on Saturday, December 14th.
Yes, we are having what is becoming an annual event of the Etsy Artisan Holiday Bazaar. This is a craft market with all the participants they participated in the craft entrepreneurship program through Etsy and the Wallingford Public Library over the last few years. So they'll set up a booth and actually sell their items in person instead of just through Etsy for the day. So it's all local community artists.
And I wanted to add, what is Etsy for people who may not know what Etsy is?
Etsy is an online marketplace with mostly handmade crafts, and they have all assortment of things from painting and photography, jewelry, knitted things. You can buy clothes now. So there's a pretty large assortment of items, and we're lucky to have a talented community that can put some items together and share them with us.
For sure. And again, that's Saturday, December 14th from 10 to 3, correct?
Correct.
So, and then, we've got lots of other things going on at the library. I mean, this is just a few things that we're mentioning.
Right.
I mean, we have book discussions. We've got lots of programs for teens. We've got craft programs in the collaboratory, and of course we just learned that craft programs at home that you can do through Creativebug. What may be something else that's coming up in the children's department? I know you have the Wonder Room now, so what's coming up in there?
So we have started a once-a-month tech takeover program, and we highlight one new piece of equipment that we have in the Wonder Room that's STEM-based. And so STEM stands for Science, Technology, Engineering, and Math. And anything that we do STEM-related is to help kids get ready for a career or hopefully try to drive them towards a career in those fields. And
so what technology are you promoting this month or next month?
Coming up in next week, we're having a drop-in where they get to play with something called brackets, which are some building materials that you can put together and make all different kinds of structures out of. And that'll be a lot of fun.
So is that like Legos, or is that different than Legos?
Not quite, but I mean, they snap together like Legos, but yeah, you can build very different things.
Same basic premise.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Excellent. And anything else coming up in the Wonder Room? I know that, you'd have certain times where people can just drop in and hang out and do homework. And
Right.
Yeah.
So we are working on putting together a system where families can check out some of the equipment that we have, so that things that we have don't stay locked in the cabinets all the time. It's not doing us any good by just sitting there. So it's not quite ready yet, but over the next few weeks, hopefully we'll be able to roll this out, that a parent or a responsible adult could come and informally check out one of our cool gadgets, and then they could oversee their children playing with that in the Wonder Room.
Responsible adult.
Exactly. Yes, that's the key.
With, again, a valid Wallingford Public Library card. And I just want to take a step back for a minute. I mean, I know we've talked on the show about the Wonder Room, but let's remind people what that is and how special that is, because that really just opened not too long ago.
Right, yeah. We have had it all summer, but it really didn't kick off until September. And it is a multi-purpose space that's new in the children's room. It's sort of modeled after the collaboratory. But it's intended to be whatever we need it to be. So during the day, we have our baby programs in there now. After school, we have it set up with tables where kids can do their homework or work collaboratively. And then in the evenings, we have a lot of STEM-based programming that we do in there.
Excellent. And so Kayleigh, she mentions it's like a collaboratory for children. Remind us what the collaboratory is, because that's your domain.
It is. Yes, so the collaboratory is a makerspace, digital media lab, and co-working space. And what that means is we just have tables that you can come in and work as a group, and with all different resources available. We have digital media aspects, which are fantastic computers. We have 4 in there that have a ton of different software available, and it's completely different from anything else in the library. So we have Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, all manner of editing and design programs that you can pretty much think of. And then there's the maker aspect, which is the crafts and all the different equipment that we have available. Really popular vinyl cutters to custom make t-shirts or tote bags. The laser cutter is always popular, and you can do pretty much anything on that. And then all manner of other things, down from colored pencils and paper, all the way up to the laser and all sorts of high-tech
gift wrapping
equipment.
too.
Yes, we have a
do
gift
have some
wrapping station.
gift wrapping station.
Yes. Once you make
So-
something in the collaboratory, especially with the holidays coming up, you can wrap it right there and just finish up.
As I always say, it's not your grandmama's library. It's much different than what I remember even as a child. So we're very fortunate here in Wallingford to have such a resource. So I want to thank you both for being here, Kari and Kayleigh. And I want to remind everybody that if you want more information on anything that you heard here, go to wallingfordlibrary.org. Call us at 203-265-6754 or stop by the Wallingford Public Library at 200 North Main Street, where our doors open to endless possibilities. I'm Julie Rio. Thank you for joining us.